You have my blessing now as ever there, young man. I trust you shall be getting out of there in due course, nephew. I shall be watching over you, young man, though it is dark down there. May the might of Olympus guide you through the shadows, nephew. Don't let your father get to you, young man, and climb on out from there. Zagreus, we won't be giving up on you, so you keep at it, I shall make the heavens themselves now aid your ascent, nephew. I and all of us upon Olympus are anticipating your success, dear nephew. Now let me see if I can't help spur you along. We meet again, young man. Yours isn't my affair, I know, and yet I cannot help but take an interest in your plight. Your father cast his lot. He need not take his anger out on you. Hello, young man, and might I offer you a little taste of the heavens themselves? Though don't go telling your old sulky father I've been spoiling you rotten. Well, my nephew, you're admittedly in quite a bind down there, but what is life without its struggles, You'll make it here eventually, I'm certain. I like the fire in you, Zagreus, and I have every confidence you'll someday clamber from the shadows there into the light. Here on Olympus, nephew, we take care of one another, and support each other, quite unlike how it must be there in your father's grim domain. No wonder you intend to leave. I'd ask you offer my respects to your lord father, Zagreus, but I suspect you won't have such a chance any time soon, considering how far you'll come with my support. Remember, you've as many chances as it takes, young man, to fight your way out of the dark and join us in the splendor of Olympus. Your grim-faced father's such a spoil-sport, nephew, the way he keeps impeding your escape. Ah, well, just keep at it, My greetings, young nephew, and more importantly, my blessing and my strength be with you as you journey towards your rightful home. Faith and courage, Zagreus, for each and every one of us upon Olympus is behind you all the way, throughout this whole affair. What can I say, young man? You may not make your father very proud, but it is just the opposite with me. Now go, get out of there. Now, nephew, how about we put both of our backs into this one, and see to it that you go farther through those depths than you have ever managed yet. Know that many mortals ask me for my blessings constantly, and I mean all the time, young nephew. But for you, you needn't ask at all. Far be it from me to raise my hand against your father, dear nephew. Although I do suppose old Hades has it coming, doesn't he? I have every confidence in you, young man. Now you remember that, and take my blessing here, and fight your way on out of there for me. Nephew, I want you to go and show that surly Hades everything you're made of. And I've arranged for you a little bit of help along the way. How is old Hades doing anyway, nephew? I suspect he's every bit as prickly as ever, whereas you are nothing of the sort. I eagerly anticipate getting to meet you face to face someday, dear nephew, just as soon as you can up and out of there. Good nephew, I return once more to lend to you my power. I'd like to see your discontented father try and stop you now. It is my solemn wish, dear Zagreus, that eventually we settle up our differences with your lord father. But for now, we fight. I wonder, nephew, whether you're prepared as yet to harness the surpassing power I shall grant you now. Don't take this blessing lightly, and may you use it well. How about, young man, we cease with all the trifling down there and cause a real storm for once? Take now the fiercest of my powers, and you show your no-good father what you're made of. Ah, but if it isn't my most favored nephew, striving always toward the surface of my world. Your father cannot possibly believe he can contain you, can he? Hail, my most honorable beloved nephew, and I bring to you the blessing of Olympus, so that you might finally get out of there already. My brave daughter Athena beat me to you this time, has she? No matter. With her blessing and my own, you shall be nigh unstoppable. It pleases me to know, young man, that you and Dionysus have been getting on so well. He could use a level-headed friend, and you could use my blessing. Poseidon sought you out already, My boastful brother gets on with Lord Hades even worse than I, so let me put a little spark into his storms for you. Getting along with Ares, are you, nephew? Would that you were my son instead of he, but no, I jest. Here, take my blessing, please. So my elusive Artemis has shown you favor, has she? The little scamp, she seldom shows respect to anyone, not even me. But I'll enhance her blessing nonetheless, Has lovely Aphrodite put you in a trance already, Zagreus? Or might I offer you the blessing of Olympus to intensify her catastrophic power with my own? Nephew, I have somewhat of a favor I must ask. You tell your father, if you so happen to run into him again, that his brother Zeus forgives him and would like to reconnect and welcome him into the family again. You tell him for me, Old Hades has continued to ignore my every effort to reach out to him, young man. Oh well, but he is obstinate indeed. You are wise to seek your family's better half. My brothers Hades and Poseidon once fought bravely by my side, you know that, don't you, nephew? We prevailed against the Titans and established law upon the earth. Your father then descended to the land of death, and we've not seen much of each other since. Your father must have told you that his governance over the underworld is due more to the weaving of the fates than by his choice. Admittedly, he got the short end of the stick, whereas Poseidon and myself, why, we've been doing rather well indeed. My brother Hades always was a lonesome man, you know. I pitied him, but I could never quite extract him from his thorny shell. Now he stews resentfully down there. You needn't bear the brunt of his frustrations. So you are son to Hades by that Nyx, the night goddess, is that correct, nephew? Well, I suppose she's closest to a queen as your lord fathers like to find down there. I tried to match him up with some more wholesome types, but no, and here we are. After we learned about your plight and your existence from the goddess Nyx, all of us on Olympus rallied to assist you just as best we could. A family such as mine protects its own. If and when you reach the surface, Zagreus, you call upon me then and there, all right? I'll personally see to it that you'll be escorted up to Olympus, and your quest shall be complete. I see the boatman of the underworld has found the means to reach you with my blessing, nephew. Such strange alliances we forge these days. Why, here I am, young man, in such strange circumstances, I might add. Luckily, the boatman Charon is much easier to get a hold of than your father. My blessing isn't good enough for you, is that the way of it, young man? How impetuous of you! I never! It isn't wise to go against me, nephew, both in matters large and small. I am not known for being charitable to the insolent. Perhaps you have defied me here in jest, young man, though in such cases pertinent to my authority you'll find I lack a sense of humor. Audacity runs in our family, Zagreus, but my advice to you is that you keep it carefully suppressed in your relationship with me. What have I done, good nephew, to deserve such scorn? Your lapse in judgment here is not so easy to forgive, yet easily punished. Your father likewise turned his back on me before, nephew, and we both know what has become of him. I'd caution you against this. Ah, very well, good show, young man. I think I shall let you off the hook and take you back under my wing for now. Commendable of you to live through that, and I suspect you shall think twice next time before so brazenly defying me, won't you? Now, no need to hold such grudges any longer, I suppose, but you just mind yourself around your Uncle Zeus. Do not spurn me again like that, do you hear me, young man? I think you do, so let's put this to bed and move along. Oh, nephew, but I simply can't stay wrathful toward you, much as I might try. They're better not to tempt me, just in case. All right, let's call the score between us settled up for now. Just don't go spurning me again, you understand? You honor me, young man, as well you should, for I am ruler of Olympus, am I not? Such courtesies are shown me constantly, yet I appreciate them all. Why, that is rather generous of you, and I'm grateful for it, nephew. How good of you to make attempts at reciprocity. So fine a gift again, my dear nephew. Would that my sons and daughters on Olympus here would show me such respect from time to time. Goodness, nephew, that's an offering indeed. I'm thankful for your piety to me, and as a show of generosity to you in turn, I present this. You fight your father's legions with Varatha, the eternal spear. The irony must not escape him, for he long ago stood by my side against the Titans with that thing in hand. It seems the bow called Coronach is safe and sound there in your hands, young man. I've not seen that old thing in quite some time. That shield of yours called Aegis, why in fact it's mine from long ago, young man. I've no more need of it, of course, though how you found it you shall have to tell me once you're here. Why, you look positively dreadful, Zagreus. That place is doing you no favors, I can tell. Luckily, I'll do you favors aplenty. You seem in dire need of some assistance, nephew. So of course I dropped what I was doing and then sought you out as quickly as I could. How do you do, young man? My blessings, nephew. How fares my brother's son of late? Well, I don't see why not. I am most grateful. Why, I am honored. This pleases me. Thanks to you, young man. I shall remember this, nephew. Bless you, Zagreus. How very kind of you. I've something for you here. Now, brother, you know better than to say such things about me, I should think. I know that tact does not come easily to you, though I'd be careful what you say to our good nephew there. Nephew, by my divine authority, my oft-misunderstood son, Ares, now shall lend you a small token of his power. I'll make him helpful yet. That Dionysus, always much too kind with introductions, though at least he shows me suitable respect. Perhaps someday he can instruct you in the customs of Olympus here. Greetings there, young man. Look, your father's always been rather difficult, and he's not so much as called in quite some time. You'll have a better home where you belong, here on Olympus, and to help you on your journey, have my blessing. Apparently the consequences of displeasing me have slipped your mind, young man. A harsh reminder is in order then. I did not restore order to this world and claim the heavens for myself only to be insulted by my own nephew. Why, nephew, is this all some sort of jest to you? It isn't one that I appreciate. Nephew, when presented with a choice to side against me or not to be such a fool, do be sure to choose the latter next time, Don't say I didn't warn you, young man. I only wish that I could say you didn't insult me. This is outrageous, Zagreus. Even your father would agree that actions such as that can't go unpunished. Young man, I don't know why you would do this to me, though I trust you're going to think twice next time. You overstep your bounds with me, nephew, but I shall make you fall right back in line. All right, this is becoming unproductive, Zagreus, as you were. Oh, I don't have the heart to keep exacting vengeance on you, nephew. I say, such petty squabbles. Aren't we better than this, Zagreus? Well, young man, I'd say it's best we put this little slight behind us, wouldn't you? Pah! All is forgiven and forgotten, Zagreus. What were we even going on about back there? That is quite enough, that's quite enough, I say. You're still alive, aren't you? I just know you'll reach the surface here eventually, Zagreus, and I look forward to our meeting when you do. We'll keep you safe here from your father, Zagreus, but while you're still inside that underworld, there's only so much we can do. You've a good head on your shoulders, Zagreus, so stay positive, stay healthy, and let nothing stand between you and your goal. I wish you well in your continued quest, and offer my sincerest blessings, and of course my power there, nephew. You've seen the sheer destructive power of the heavens. Just imagine what it's like above the surface of the earth. Someday, when we'll be resting easy on these heights, why, we'll look back at this and laugh, I'm sure of it. You'll watch yourself down there, won't you, young man? All of us, we're here for you, young man. Please do be careful not to make your situation any worse, nephew. I'm here for you, young man, so you take heart. And more than that, take this. All of us believe in you, though certainly no one so much as I. Here's something I can do to help, young man. You just take all the time you need in terms of fighting your way out of there, young man. Now don't lose heart, young man, and we'll keep at it with you here as well. As my kin, you are a born fighter, Zagreus, so put your back into it and you climb right up. It shall be glorious indeed the day you finally burst from that oppressive den into the light. I know you have it in you to surpass your father, Zagreus, assuming you are anything like me. Wisely decided there, young man. Now wasn't that a simple test, nephew? Oh, I feel very proud. Not the hardest choice you ever made. Congratulations, you made the right choice. Oh, young man, you hurt somebody's feelings. Now is the time to strike. Oh, you watch this, young man. I'll strike them down right now. I can take care of that. The sheer audacity. I ought to strike you down. Have you gone daft, nephew? Now you ask my favor, Zagreus. A swift death is a mercy of a retribution. I did not become ruler of Olympus by forgiving trespasses, young man. You can't run from heaven. Struck down. I know just how much you must want out of there, young man. And I want that as well. Good thing for you, as I get what I want around here. Ask anybody. The lord and ruler of Olympus and the world, why, he needs a healthy sense of humor, no, young man? And there's an awful lot of spoil sports out here, can't even take a little joke. Well, I know all their mothers. Fie on all of them, I say. Let's joke away. Ah, now that's the Aegis that I know and love. Or used to love, at least, the dear old thing. Now I quite love these shocking bolts of mine. Though I am proud you've given Aegis a good home, and bear it in my name. My good sister Demeter already tried to poison you against me, as I understand, young man. Oh, foster sister, she prefers, I say, loath as she is to accept her role as part of our great family. You must forgive the Lady Demeter her scornfulness, nephew, for she is still recovering after the sudden disappearance of her daughter. Though it was quite some time ago, the girl, poof, just vanished. I try to lighten up the mood around it every now and then, but no, a sore spot still. Poor Demeter, young man. We still wonder what became of her fair daughter. Ran away with mortals there, perhaps. Some of the tales even more preposterous. Don't go believing everything you hear, and do be sensitive about the subject, Demeter, she's been through quite enough. The Lady Demeter still prattles on about her missing girl, Zagreus. But I want you to understand something, all right? She's gone. We all have grieved. Perhaps Demeter shall finally accept what has occurred, and we can move forward, having grown stronger as a family. By the way, nephew, I hear tell your mother Nyx is quite the catch, if you'll forgive my saying so, of course. Your father's never had much of a sensibility around companionship, though perhaps this concubine of his brought something out in him at last. Nephew, I wanted to mention, it was odd how by every account you'd come quite close to breaking free from there at last of late, only to be abruptly cut off from our contact, I suppose having suffered some ill fate? Perhaps your realm's guardian Cerberus is even deadlier than reputed. Hark, young man, for I've a vision I must share with you. A waking phrase for exegriff, to be precise. Please beseech the weapon thus. I see your prideful fall down from the heavens to the flames. An odd connection to a past or future bearer, apparently one who defied a god. Have you encountered exegriff and said to it the waking phrase I gave to you, young man? Why, I tell exegriff myself. Remember, it's I see your prideful fall down from the heavens to the flames. Now that is an entirely unusual design, even for exegriff. So then the waking phrase has worked. That aspect's bearer, Lucifer, was it? Struck his own Lord Father. Tried to, anyway. A not uncommon story, it would seem. I thank you for the generous introduction, fair Athena, and I always rest assured when you are close at hand. I trust with our combined might, our good Zagreus is virtually certain to succeed. Why, look, Zagreus, here comes brave Athena, first to reach you among all my kin in all her shrewdness. So proactive, you contacted Zagreus prior to even telling me, my dear. Now, Zagreus, once you arrive, we'll have to find for you a suitable mate, won't we? Fine young man such as yourself. Normally, there's much to choose from around here, with some exceptions, of course, such as my cunning daughter, Artemis, willfully uninclined to take a mate at all. Thank you for the introduction, daughter. Now, you run along, go frolic with your nymphs or something. Leave me to assist my nephew here. Bestow on him your faint blessing if you must. Come now, Zagreus. The only thing Lady Aphrodite has under control is her long list of salivating suitors, am I right? Aphrodite, how about you bestow your blessing and be off, and I'll take it from here. Young man, I know you'd like to get to know the comely Aphrodite face to face, or, I don't know, you can decide once you arrive at last. He can decide, isn't that right, my Lady Aphrodite, Oh, ha ha ha, Lady Demeter. Your wit is just as dry as the earth lying quite fallow in your care. Perhaps you should go tend to that again, though let's we go ahead and help our young man first. Now, young man, whatever you have heard about good Demeter, I'm here to clear the air. She's like a sister to me, yes, but only thus. Although her Titan parents and my own met the same fate. You've traveled rather quickly to this point. Which reminds me, I've not seen Swift Hermes anywhere of late. The rascal's likely dallying about. I gather Lady Demeter's already got a frigid hold on you. Certainly not the warmest member of the clan, now is she? But do be patient with her, she's been through a lot. Ah, must be my gleaming thunder signet that I transferred to you. Why, I could feel its call from all the way up here. Well, if it isn't the one and only rail of adamant in your possession there. To strike one's enemies from afar is really the only way, I think, and it's about as good a substitute for lightning bolts as you're likely to find. Now, isn't that mouth on the twin fists there in your possession, Zagreus? Last god I saw bedecked in those old gloves was Demeter herself, oh, way back when. She was a real fighter at the time, not just a naysayer. Zagreus, you must have left most of your lifeblood back the other way. Oh, I jest. But you look terrible. No one likes to die, young man. But since you seem about to any moment now, you keep your head held high, do you hear me? Well, let's face it, Zagreus, you are as good as dead right now. But you'll just slosh right back out of the river Styx and give it a good try again, won't you? Remember, young man, dying is for mortals, so don't go making a habit of it there. But if you have to do it fighting like a hero would. Ah, so then the boatman Charon came through for us after all, did he? Whatever means we have to reach you, we'll employ. Your Charon there must drive quite a hard bargain, Zagreus, if he would keep you from your victory just for a bit of coin. I thought that ferryman would be content to transfer souls across the river Styx, not rob you on your journey to the surface there, nephew. I'm very pleased to see a show of such respect and admiration for your uncle, Zagreus. You'll go quite far here on Olympus with an attitude like that. Not everyone's as mannered, nor as wise. Ah, most splendid of an offering, young man. And while we've yet to even meet in person, I already feel as though the two of us are close. Why, closer than you must be even with your father. Perhaps we ought to go telling everybody I'm your real father, am I right? Now, nephew, you are most generous indeed in showing all this deference to me. But we must keep some distance, shouldn't we? Lest all the others here, why, they would be most jealous if they caught me playing favorites. Even though you are my favorite. Presently, at least. I suppose even down in the underworld you would have heard such tales of me, young man. They're all untrue, except the tales of my bravery. Those are completely accurate, though all too modest in most cases, I must say. My, what is this you have for me, young man? Appears to be a message of some sort, bearing my thunder sigil. Though there's one for everybody on Olympus, have they as yet received their own? I must know what it says. It's from your father. Who else can it be? I better check on this. I eagerly await learning some more about the contents of that fascinating message you had sent up here, nephew. How mysterious indeed. I'll be keeping an eye on all the others that come in. I have to tell you, Zagreus, that it was wonderful to meet with you at last. We were so pleased to learn Persephone was safe. And Nyx, why, she's as stunning as they say. Shouldn't have lied to us about your parentage, but I know things get complicated here, and that what's done is done. Your dear mother Persephone is a shrewd woman, Zagreus, more than an equal to your mighty father. I'm pleased to know you've made amends with her, and taken new responsibilities within your house. Naturally, I'll continue to pitch in, and I hope that we'll meet again someday. Zagreus, you have a clever mother in Persephone, a very clever mother, and a lordly father. They make quite the team, that's evident. True rivals for Hera and me. How fares your lovely mother? Things still good with her and Hades, You tell your good lord father that his brother Zeus shall be always watching over you. I trust your good lord father's treating you all right. I know you're busy, Zagreus, though someday you shall have to visit us. I'm never quite so busy that I can't make time for family, young man. We're all in this together, aren't we, nephew? I say, big brother, you and your better half put on a positively smashing night. It's a relief for all of us, knowing Persephone is safe and sound. And mother to as noble of a son as my good nephew there. I must say, nephew, although it pleases me that we here reconnected with your father's realm, just between us, it pleases me even more that you are able to keep sticking it to him. You keep that up, all right? Oh, of course, Hades. Now then, farewell, and let us keep in better touch from here. Ah, most splendid of an offering, young man. I already feel as though the two of us are close. Why, closer than you must be even with your father. Perhaps we ought to go telling everybody I'm your real father, am I right?